If you ever wanted to model how to be an outstanding provost, listen to what Herman did.
I think he has a passion for the university.
He's clearly someone who has a commitment to the university that far surpasses almost anybody else.
He was cool. He had big hair. He had sandals. He was cool.
Herman is the hippest non-hip person I've ever met.
Herman is an infinitely gracious person, and he treats people with respect. And one shouldn't mistake that graciousness for a lack of strength.
Multifaceted, forward-thinking, disciplined, and competent.
When you look around our university, you see Herman's influence throughout. But to me, what I think is the most important part of his legacy and influence is in the lives that he's touched.
My job here at Hofstra as an undergraduate student was as a student assistant in the School of Business. I remember looking in and seeing this very young man who really looked like a grad student. And I remember thinking to myself, who's sitting in the dean's office?
And I remember this fellow coming over to me with kind of curly hair. And I remember saying to this person, "Can I help you?" Thinking that this was simply another student. It was Herman Berliner, who was at that point the associate provost.
He was a real cool cat, yeah. He was a skinny kid with a black curly afro hairdo and impossible shirts. He wore tight, multicolored shirts. Of course, now he's a three-piece suit man.
Well, I was an undecided major when I got to Hofstra. They had what they called liberal arts and science packaged classes. In the economics class was Herman Berliner and Lynn Turgeon, who were as far apart as two professors could be, but they were both fascinating, great teachers. And the two professors, particularly Herman, was so dynamic. I took more classes until I ended up being an economics major.
What a great mentor Herman has always been to me. I can just think about all the opportunities I've had in my life because of the brilliance and the incredible caring nature of Herman Berliner.
He tells the story about when he became provost and he called his mom. And he said to his mom, "Mom, I became provost." There was a pause and she said, "Well, I'm happy for you. Is that a good thing? What's a provost?"
So a provost is the person that heads up all academics.
They're the second person in command after the president.
And it's really about ensuring the quality of the degree that the university produces.
University has so many functions, but you need to have someone who focuses on education, on academics, on scholarship. And what Herman has done is that's his spot.
Herman thinks that teaching is the center of the university, is the heart of the university. He wants to make sure that we are able to do our job in the best way that we can under current conditions.
During the pandemic, when it was time to come up with ways in which to teach our students, we were going to get whatever needed to be done to provide excellence for them.
As the demands on faculty to produce research grew, he was on board with that. In fact, he was a leader in expecting it.
He was one of those instrumental in setting up the CTRs, the course and teacher ratings.
When I was a student and we did the course and teacher evaluations, I always appreciated that anybody cared, but I think we really appreciated having our opinions solicited.
Herman has helped Hofstra to become nationally recognized as a place of academic excellence. The other thing is Herman is always honest with the faculty. When Herman gives a report, you know that what he says is what is. It's one of the reasons why top academic scholars stay at Hofstra.
One of the most important qualities for a provost is to have a kind of encyclopedic knowledge of the institution. And that is Herman to a T.
For Herman, I think his philosophy is that he has to be the best model of instruction. He's a model of excellence in terms of preparation and delivery and implementation.
There was one morning where I called him, I think at 7:30 in the morning, to just leave a message on his office phone of, "Hey, I need to talk to you later." And he was already in.
And then I see it late in the evening where he's still emailing and, responding to queries very late, very disciplined.
Sometimes what would happen is we would exchange emails and neither one of us would stop because we had to get the last line in.
He's probably the best provost I've ever met. And I think probably the key skills for that lies in his sense of humor.
How many provosts, in speaking to an entering class, would come in and use Harry Potter? The speaking to students as Dumbledore, I think, is actually a quintessential Herman moment.
He was just hilarious in his offhanded way, and he hasn't changed at all.
He genuinely uses puns. It's part of him. And, you know, sometimes they would groan with him, we would all groan, and all of that just adds to the aura of Herman.
He's got visions for things. Always has ideas. He's great at getting people to sign on to his vision and collaborate and make it their vision and their project.
He's concerned with bringing people together and getting them to interact in a way that solves the problem for the good of the university, but makes everyone comfortable with that decision.
He has an incredibly high emotional intelligence, that he is able to sense what's happening in a room and understand what role he can fill to help change, right, those dynamics if it needs to be, and always in complete control of his own emotions. I have never seen him lose his temper, ever.
Oh my goodness, Herman is one of the most patient people I've ever met, never raising his voice, always calm.
I say to him one day, I said, "What are you, some sort of Buddhist? What's with you? You have a level of equanimity that I've never seen in any human being."
I was chair of a department when we had the very long strike, and that was very contentious. Those were difficult times, but he never lost his cool.
I have seen time and time again where, you know, it could be a difficult conversation that we're having, and at the right opportunity, he will bring some levity to that conversation, and you can just feel the tension in the room go down.
The thing about academia is that I think you try to find a campus that is your home, your spiritual home, your philosophical home. And I think he's found it. And his goal is to leave it better than he found it. I think it's gotten him pulled back in again and again and again.
At every corner of this university that he walks in, he sees things that he's created and improved. As Dean of the School of Business, he helped build one of the top business schools in the Northeast. As Provost, he's done that for every school within the university.
He's been responsible for developing new schools, expanding the academic program on campus. He's been responsible for incorporating the use of technology when the pandemic came along, and he's been very much involved in the cybersecurity center. And they have been tremendous benefits to the university.
I would like to know what other institution has a building named after a dean or a provost. There aren't many.
It was important to me to see that someone of his caliber was recognized sort of in perpetuity. And I thought, what better way to show someone that they had a meaningful impact is to give something in somebody else's name. And it really was a pleasure to be able to do that for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, as much as he's committed to Hofstra and other things, I mean, his family takes precedence over everything. He's definitely the doting father. You know, he's always trying to make his daughters happy, take them on vacations, take them to the theater.
When people are toasting to champagne or anything else, Herman will bring a chocolate story. So if I had to toast to him, I would toast to him with chocolate, not with champagne.
His love of chocolate. He had the chocolate conference, chocolate the gift of the gods or the food of the gods. And that's I bring him one of two things when I travel. I either bring him very dark chocolate or I bring him a dreidel.
The museum actually had the exhibit of his dreidels. Just fantastic.
Herman has shown me all of the different facets of life on a campus that you have to think about. And while, of course, I am advocating for the faculty as hard as I can, there are other components of campus that we have to consider.
I think he created a sense around him that if you're going to be successful in this university, we want people that treat people with respect and dignity.
I have learned that team is important. You can't do anything by yourself, that you have to be very clear in your choosing your battles and then fight for what you believe in.
Do your homework. You got to do your homework. If you're not prepared, if you haven't looked at everything, you could really be surprised.
Dealing with somebody who is very, very different and remaining respectful and friends, it's too rare a thing, especially in the polarized world in which we live.
Congratulations, Herman. You have been such an important part of Hofstra University. You've been an important part in my life. It was a joy to work with you and to see everything that you've accomplished.
Thank you for all these years. Congratulations and the best of luck.
I just want to thank you for what you've done for me personally, and I wish you all the best in the world.
With all sincerity, and the words just fall short, but thank you. And we just all hope that we can really live out your legacy of caring leadership, caring for the students, caring for this institution.
Congratulations, Herman. I am so glad that you are moving on to your next phase of life and otherwise retire in peace.
You're such a source of inspiration. You want to be better. Congratulations on your second, third, whatever, retirement.
Thanks for everything that you've done. The students, the faculty, to the Hofstra community.
Thank you, my friend. You deserve every joy of retirement.
Herman, thanks so much for all that you have done. Go to Mila Mahagat.
All I want to say on behalf of myself and everybody that I know who knows you that doesn't have this opportunity, thank you. Thank you very much.